Next, here's what I think is going to happen in Nashville in 2026. That is, if it hasn't happened already.
Today, on the first day of 2026, I thought I would set you up and let you know what I think is coming in AI in music, film, entertainment, and media. My name is Charles Alexander, and I work here in Nashville at the intersection of AI, music, and tech. We'll get to all the stuff I want to talk about in just a second. I want to introduce everything by way of an experiment I ran a couple of days ago. I ran 3 generative AI video models on the same prompt. I used Google Veo 3.1, Sora 2, and a third with which you might not be as familiar with called Kling AI. Here's Google Veo 3.1. Why did you have to leave me here in the dark? Here's Sora 2. I built a home in the quiet of your hand. And here's Kling AI. In the silence, I hear your name. This brings me to my first main point. I think the Chinese video models like Kling AI, Dream, Hailuo or MiniMax, Wan are going to be completely unhinged in 2026. And currently, they are running circles around the models from Google Veo 3.1, Sora 2, maybe even Runway. They are also not constrained or restricted by regulations, and they are freely available. I think there's going to be an insane amount of content from these video models that are going to proliferate across the internet. We don't have a system or an infrastructure to prevent them from doing that. So my biggest piece of advice to you for 2026 is get ready. Next, let's talk about what I think is going to happen in Nashville on Music Row, if it isn't happening already. Let me paint you a scenario. A group of songwriters walk into a songwriting room, and one pulls out a guitar, one sits at the keyboard, and the other pulls out their laptop. And no, that person is not the track guy or track girl. They open up an LLM like ChatGPT, Gemini Pro, or Claude. They then ask the LLM to analyze the hits on the Billboard charts of the last 3 years, be it in pop, be it in country, be it crossover, it really doesn't matter. They could then also potentially ask the LLM what the lyrical themes were, what were the production choices, what were the melodic structures. They then say, predict what you think is going to be massive in about 6 months on those same charts. Now, create a seed lyric that we can build upon to write that song. You follow me? Now, this is important. I'm not saying the top songwriters in this town are going to just take that lyric and put it out. That's not how this works. The AI becomes a research tool, an input, a starting point, not the final product. They're going to take that information, discuss it, debate it, and then use their own creative filters, their experience, their art, their craft, and write something that has the highest potential to be successful in 6 months. Honestly, I don't see how a city like Nashville, with Music Row at its center, doesn't get into this workflow. Again, if they haven't already, but are just choosing not to admit it. People who've been writing hit songs for 20 years aren't going to skip a tool that might surface patterns they may have missed. They're just going to use it differently than someone starting from scratch. There's one more thing I want to put on your radar for 2026. I think we're going to see the emergence of hybrid AI artists. I'm not talking about fully generated AI performance. Synthetic artists, virtual influencers. That's been tried, and the results have been mixed. I'm talking about established artists, people who built careers organically with real fan bases and real fan growth. They are now going to use AI creatively and visually to augment what they already do or have done. Here's what's interesting about that. You take a true artist with a clear artistic vision, with an authentic voice, and you extend what they could do before and visualize something they couldn't afford to do before. You almost create a third synergistic entity, something completely different, but built upon true, authentic, soulful creativity. That is the future. We're not talking about replacement, we're talking about evolution. So that's what I'm watching in 2026. Video models are going to become so much better. Content from those models are going to proliferate across the internet. LLMs are going to become infrastructure. Industries are going to have to figure out how to work in a hybrid space. And we're a long way from figuring it all out.